The opinions expressed on the Custody Queen Show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal, professional legal advice. The persons discussed are fictional and not based on actual clients.
Thought it was love, had kids in between. You can count on us, we're the Custody Queens. Yeah, you can count on us, we're the Custody Queens.
Welcome, everybody. I am so excited for our guest this morning. I am going to introduce today Presley Tennant. She is a country music songwriter and singer, and she is also our friend. So who better to have on Go Country as a country pop star?
We are very excited, and we are all here in our cowboy boots this morning.
Yes, we wanted to impress Presley, and so, we had to go out and get some new cowboy boots and some swag just to fit the part.
Although Kristen does not need an excuse to shop.
So welcome, Presley. We can't wait to hear about your career and, where you come from and who you are, because I know that I fell in love with you, as a person and as an artist on social media, and I'm just so excited we get to spend this time with you today.
All right, so before we get into it, I think we should do our high and low game for the week. So, Presley, newcomer, welcome. What Kristen and I do from time to time is we talk about what happened in the week that was great and what happened in the week that was not so great. So I'm going to make Kristen go first and give Presley a second to think it through.
Oh, always putting me on the spot, Sam.
My
and I know we
favorite thing-
didn't warn Presley, so she's probably sitting there thinking right now.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Can we
Kristen.
start with our high? Because that's always easier for me, even
Sure.
though those are generally more lows. But my high is, and I know everyone listening probably thinks I talk about my kids all the time, and that's because I do, because they run my life, but it's the things that they do that make those moments in my life just so much more memorable. And, as everyone listening or follows me on social media knows that my kids are very athletic. And my daughter had a soccer tournament this past weekend. And for most of you listening knows that this has been a journey and she has struggled. And, this season we kind of made some decisions to get extra training, to move her to a different team so she could get more playing time. And this past weekend, the girl was on fire. And for everyone listening, if you ever want to check out my daughter, she's the girl with the red headband. You can find her. But to see her shine and to see her come to life as a team leader, as, a fighter on the field, and just someone who brings the team up is one of the most proud things that I have been through as a mom. To watch her struggle, face those challenges, face those fears, and then put in the work, put in the training, and to get where she is at right now, it blows my mind and it makes my heart skip a beat. And I told her yesterday, it is not the goals that you score. I mean, they're amazing. And to have my whole family there watching and cheering her on, it's amazing. But it's the way that when she gets scored on, she gets the ball out of the net, she looks at her team and says, "We got this." And that's what life is about. It's overcoming the challenges. It's knowing that you're never out of the fight. Little shout out to Tyler Gray for that one. But it's just realizing that life is full of challenges and obstacles, and to teach your kids at a young age that teamwork makes the dream work, and that extra training, it's always needed no matter where you're at in your life. But to see it all come together for me as a mom, it was amazing.
Well, and Riley is quite the rock star. Kristen shares with me some videos. I got to get out and watch her play again. But I think she scored 10 goals this weekend.
It was actually 12.
Yeah, there you go. My bad. Go Riley.
And Presley actually played club soccer at Legends, the same club that my daughter plays at. And Sam is from Corona, Presley's from Norco, and I'm living in Corona. So what a small world this is, right?
It's meant to happen.
So wait, Presley, you're from Norco?
Yes, I am. Born and raised.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yeah.
The horse town.
Oh, yeah.
And Norco stands for North Corona, which not a lot of people know.
I did not know that until fairly recently.
Yeah, I love Norco.
It's my favorite place
It's a little
ever.
piece of country that no one really realizes exists.
Well, everyone thinks Southern California, and they're really confused, and they're like, "Oh, you're from a horse town, up north?" And I'm like, "No,
You're like, no.
down south." I'm an hour from LA. It's not too far.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Presley, what is a high of your week?
I would say this past weekend, so let me put it this way. last year around this time, there was the Fallen 13 that happened at Kabul in Afghanistan. And so obviously with those who were fallen, they celebrated and had a ceremony for them in honor of them. And so I got to sing at those events, but I wish it was one of those things where I didn't have to sing there and didn't have to have all these people come together. But because of that, it was so amazing to see the community come around and support the families that were there.
How special.
And just see how everybody stands united with one another and just truly honors those who were fallen. It just brought tears to my eyes with so much joy for how many people were there for them. Obviously not in the best circumstances, but just seeing the community come together was probably my high.
And a few of those service members were from our community, right?
Yeah, there was Kareem Nakui, who was from Norco, California, so that was a little deep. I didn't get to go to the same high school as him. I went somewhere else, but I would have been in the same year graduating as him, so I was like, this is so weird.
Well, and I love that you take time out of your schedule to make those events. Sam and I do the same thing with a lot of charity events because they're so near and dear to our hearts, and bringing the community together under any circumstance is super important. Mm-hmm. All right, Sam.
Well, now I have to follow that. I thought my high was going to be talking about how my shirt matches my shoes for the first time all year. But no, I would say, so without sharing too much, I was in a trial the past couple of weeks and it's still going on. But it's so much pressure and stress when you're in it and you're sleep deprived and challenging yourself. And I think towards the end of the week, I just started, my exhaustion turned into like a really raw form of appreciation for being an attorney and for being in a position where, you know, Kristen understands this all too well, that we can really help people when they're going through stuff. And so to me, it was just very appreciative of having the opportunity to help someone.
And Sam is one of the hardest workers out of anyone I know. And for most of us, you know, trials consume everything we eat, drink, sleep, you know, think. It consumes everything. And it's worse even for Sam because she is such an incredibly hard worker and talented attorney. But for everyone listening, an attorney, if your attorney is just someone that emails you once a month and asks for money, but doesn't really get into the nitty gritty with you and talk about your options and strategy, and if this doesn't work, how do we get here, and calls you out when you're doing things that aren't going to benefit you or your case, then you don't have the right attorney. We are so much more than attorneys, and what I love about what we do is we get to educate people about, hey, litigation may not be the best route for you, financially, personally, with your mental health aspect, anything. These are the options. So make sure you really evaluate your relationship with the professionals that you work with and make sure that you have and you're finding the right fit.
That's exactly right. And now we are going to make Kristen again start talking about her low of the week. I know she's going to get me back at some point, but...
You know, I think it's like a recurring low, and it's my personality type is that when I have bad days, sometimes those bad days go very low. Right. And, you know, I've had to work a lot over the years on managing my anxiety and just pulling myself up by the bootstraps and saying, this too shall pass, tomorrow will be a better day. And another thing that I am not very good at is keeping my mouth shut sometimes, you know? It's just who I am. And most of the time, I kind of pick battles that don't even involve me because I am a fighter for everybody, which can create, you know, issues in my marriage because my husband's always like, Kristen, what did you do now? But I want to make sure everybody's voice is heard. But I do act off emotion sometimes.
Well, and I will vouch for Kristen. We rarely fight, and she's not someone you want to fight with. But when Kristen comes to your defense, there's like, you can just take a nap because she's got it covered. She will back you up. Kristen, you are one of the most loyal people I know.
Yes, almost to a fault. It's like I bring, you know, a whole army behind me, and even when it's not my battles, and sometimes I need to learn to stand down. And I tell our clients all the time, you shouldn't act off emotions, you know, put the pencil down, walk away, put the phone down before you send the text. You know, don't buy the shopping cart on Amazon without thinking about it. And, we're human too. And, a couple times in the past few weeks, I have acted off sleep deprivation and raw emotion, which, may not have created the best situations. So I'm working on it. I am a work in progress, as are all of you. But I love that I can be honest with all of you guys, because you have to call yourself out. And Kristen, I'm calling you out. All right, Presley, do you have anything that, maybe was hit home, or that you thought, ooh, I could have handled that a little bit better?
I would say there wasn't like a certain situation, but for the lowest, I would say, of the week would just be finding like the motivation to get up and do everything that I like, my responsibilities and like what the tasks that I have to do, and like trying to figure out, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do this today, and like getting through like those little barriers. It's nothing too crazy, but that definitely has been a struggle this week, so I would say that was the low.
Well, you are not alone.
Yeah, that's a legit low. That stays my low.
Yeah, and I think that's just the life of a professional. It's like I look back at college when I could sleep until 10 on the weekends and we didn't have soccer, and I was so ready to get out, and now it's like what I would give. I don't even think my body could sleep till 10, but what I would give to just have no obligations for a day.
Yeah.
So, but finding motivation, you are not alone, girlfriend. All right, Sam.
All right, my low of the week. So this probably doesn't come as a shock to anyone that knows me, but I figured out that soda cans can explode in your car. And so...
And in the freezer.
And in the freezer, yes. That is a legitimate warning that I ignored. And apparently I've been playing with fire, but I got myself a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper Cherry, which is fabulous.
Oh, so good.
If anyone has...
The zero?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wow. That's really replaced alcohol for me. But anyways, I put it in my trunk, and I left it. And when I came back, and I'm not exaggerating, 8 of the soda cans had completely exploded.
And
like,
if I know you,
down in my car.
And if I know you, you probably had 8 suit jackets back there.
Yeah,
probably had about
1000%.
14 pairs of shoes.
We're still dealing with the damage.
I mean, I live out of my car.
I was shocked. I saw one explode, and I was like, "Oh man, that's bad." And then I started looking around, and they like catapulted like to the front. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
What a mess that soda cans that explode can make.
And my car actually smells sticky now.
Oh, I bet.
In case anyone was wondering.
It's like cherry sticky, and it's like, oh.
Well, I did that the night before soccer. I actually had the Cherry Dr. Pepper Zero, and I think I also had Coke Zero, and I had put a bunch in the freezer the night before so I could take them. I had to leave for soccer at like 4:15 in the morning because I had to be in Carlsbad at 6:30 and get the kids ready. And totally forgot about them. Come home that afternoon, and my entire freezer was covered with brown ice.
So I'm not alone.
No, you're not. And then my first thought is, oh, I am too tired to clean that, and I just shut the freezer.
Yeah, it'll just preserve itself in there. Have you tried the cream soda, Dr. Pepper?
I have tried every zero there is. And I love cream soda. My husband doesn't like it, but I love cream soda.
Yeah, cream soda,
that comes
Dr.
from my dad.
Pepper.
Oh, yeah. I actually tried the mango Pepsi Zero. It's an acquired taste. It's a little kind of like Coke and mango. This is a little odd, but I think it's good to be a limited flavor.
Okay,
seasonal.
fair.
So, all right, well, let's move on. We have this beautiful girl next to us, and for everyone listening, you can get all of her shows on any streaming platform. I know that the first time that I DM'd her, and she actually, messaged me back, and I was so excited. I started texting my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, the country pop artist is texting me back. And all my friends think I'm funny because, most people listening to us now realize there's not a lot that I'm afraid of. And I went straight to iTunes and I put in her name and I just started downloading them, started playing for my daughter. I started playing them on the way to soccer games. And what a talented and beautiful inside and out young lady you are, Presley.
Thank you so much.
So why don't you tell our listeners how you got your name?
Well, so I first started singing when I was about 7 years old. Kind of grew up doing it, just like the little karaoke nights, Taco Tuesdays. My parents would go have the tacos, and I'd just be singing Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker up there. And everyone's like, "Why does this 7-year-old know this?" And so I fell in love with singing. And by the time that I was 10, I was in a girl group called the 5 LPs, or the 5 Little Princesses. And so we were like all like little girls wearing like bright pink tutus that were all bedazzled and sparkled. And we were like, you know what? This is like, it was the best thing ever for me. And I was also playing soccer during that time. And so I got to the point, I think I was about 13 years old, was in the industry, got to learn everything about it, the music industry, with writing and recording and going to rehearsals and playing shows, and just knew that that is what I was supposed to be doing. And so when I turned 13, I was homeschooled at the time already, and I was like, I gotta make the decision, because I'm going to LA from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for rehearsals, and then like 6 to like 8 p.m. for soccer practice. And I was like, I gotta make a choice. Like, I still have to finish my homework at some point in the day.
Right, yeah.
I gotta pass middle school at this point. It was a choice. And so I made the decision to leave soccer behind me and go full force music. And I am so grateful that I did. When I was 16, I ended up on season 16 of The Voice with Kelly Clarkson.
That's exciting.
So that was a fun time. I learned so much from then.
Who was your coach?
Kelly Clarkson. So
Very
and she
cool.
was
Love
my
us some Kelly.
idol
Kelly.
since I could have ever remembered. Like, she was part of the reason that I started singing.
Very cool.
And so after The Voice, I got to open up for so many different artists like Tim McGraw and Blake Shelton.
Wow.
And so some pretty cool names.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is everything that I could have dreamed of and more. And I feel like I'm already achieving it, and I'm very, very happy with the choice that I made with pursuing music instead of soccer.
I bet.
As much as I love soccer.
No, and when you get to that age, you have the way that sports work now, or any, not even just sports, any passion or artistic venture that you're involved in, it's so much that
It's
you have.
competitive.
Yeah, it's so competitive, so different than when even I played. You were still able to do different things until about that age, but you found your calling. And what does Sam and I always say? If you're doing what you love, you never work a day. Now I think you still work some days, but you get through it. But the fact that you knew that at such a young age, and you're still so young, you have your whole career ahead of you. But you are making some moves.
Thank you so much.
So how'd you pick country music to focus on?
I mean, coming from Norco, I felt like it was very fitting.
Yes.
Everyone around me listened to it. It's a very country lifestyle. I mean, it's Horsetown, USA.
Yeah, and no one realizes that.
I didn't realize it. I thought it just kind of was the city on the 15 that smelled like manure sometimes.
No,
That's if you go down towards Eastville more. That's
right,
on Norco.
right. On your way to Vegas, you're like, woo! But now that since I've been in that community for a while, I actually went to the Norco Fair a couple years ago, and I saw the big sign, "Welcome to Horsetown, USA," and I was like, wow, this is such a cute little town.
You can go to Taco
ride
Bell.
your horse to the bar.
Yep, you can go to Taco Bell or like Starbucks, and there's a horse in front of you instead of a car in the drive-thru. And I was like, this is welcome to Norco.
It does make you feel like you're 20 years back in time. But I like that. With all the hustle and bustle, I love that they have maintained the innocence of that town.
Absolutely. I love Norco. My grandpa actually had a house in Norco growing up, so I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, and with your name, Presley, I just want to point out, I have a niece named Presley. She is my 2-year-old beautiful little niece, and it was also, if I was going to have another girl, my middle child, Brody, if he was going to be a girl, he was going to be Presley Rose.
You know what's so weird is that my nephew's name is Brody. So it's weird. Oh my goodness.
So I love your name.
Well, thank you.
All right. Was your family super supportive? It sounds like that your family was super on board with all the commitments, because when your kids have activities and passions, I know firsthand how much of that falls on the parents.
Yeah. So for myself, my parents have been so incredible, as well as my friends and family. I have been so fortunate to have them as the people behind me that stand behind me no matter what I do. And so it's like, obviously my dad was my soccer coach. And so when I made the decision to quit soccer, I was playing on 2 of his teams with an older team and then my own team. And then I was like, hey Dad, sorry, I'm gonna make a switch. And he was hurt a little bit in the beginning, and then he started to understand, right. Maybe this was better. It was just it was a big decision because everybody in my family played soccer.
Right.
And so when I made the switch, he was like, oh, that hurts my heart.
Right.
But I understand you got to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But my mom, she's like my best friend. I mean, so is my dad as well, but like my mom drives me everywhere. I'm so surprised she's like not here with me today.
No, where is she? Bring her
She
home.
was gonna come by, but then she had to go take care of the dogs, make sure they were all good. But they are just so wonderful, and my family and my brothers and like my little sister, they are so supportive and go to everything of mine, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
I love that. I think we had 15 family members at my daughter's soccer game, and the whole way home she just kept saying, "Oh, my grandmas and my papas were there." And when family comes together to support someone, it's magic. So that's pretty cool. Well, now that we've gotten to know a little bit about you, and without further ado, we want to share Presley's new song with all of you. And it is called Break My Heart. And I know that all of us have had our heart broken at some point in time. And after this show, make sure you go straight to your favorite streaming platform and download it. Wow, that was so good.
Thank you so much.
So I actually got a little bit of chills. Listen to that. I got total Faith Hill vibes too.
Well,
I mean, that was incredible.
Thank you.
Did you write that song too?
I wrote that with two incredible writers out in Nashville, and that was Nick Autry and Bobby McLam.
Wow. I you know what I love about when I was really trying to listen and enjoy the music, but I always listen to the words too, is that some of life's lessons are from the things that hurt us internally, but you're forever grateful for going through those things in life.
Yeah, I'm speechless. That's my new favorite song.
Well, thank you.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Sam knows when I like something, I just play it on repeat, like no joke, like 30 times.
Well, the best part about that is she plays it on repeat, but somehow it's playing throughout the office. Like, I don't know.
I have multiple Amazon Echoes through.
That's what it is. So like, and since she does it on repeat, you kind of know Kristen's mood with it. So you could like be in our billing office and hear, what's the song that you always
Kane Brown Heaven.
Kane Brown Heaven. Yeah, when that comes on, everyone's like, uh-oh, Kristen.
That's another thinker song. But this is going to be on repeat.
Yeah.
This is going to be on repeat. It's one of those that you really just enjoy listening, and you go through flashbacks in your brain of all the challenges that life has given you, but at the same time, you're so grateful for going for them.
You have an incredible voice.
Thank you so much.
You just blew us away.
Well, thank you.
And if you ever need someone to open you at any show, Sam and I are yours.
You know what? Hey, how about the one in like 2 weeks?
Oh, absolutely. Check my schedule. We're good.
Clear a couple things.
All right. I know that we are almost running out of time really quick, so I'm just going to ask one last question. But we do have another show with Presley, so everyone can stay tuned for that at another time. But what was it like being on The Voice? Were you intimidated? Were you in awe? What was it like?
There were so many emotions when I went through The Voice. It was like I was there prepping and I was on top of the world and I was like, you know what, I got this. Like, I'm not gonna let anybody tear me down. I know exactly what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden it's like the day of, still feeling good. And I'm right in front of like the double doors that open up. And all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, doors are open. I can't walk anymore. Knees are buckling. I'm like wearing heels. I'm like, I'm gonna fall and I'm gonna eat it. And the coaches in the chairs are gonna turn around and be like, what was that noise? And I was like, oh, it's just me. Sorry guys. Hey, how's it going? But then as soon as like the music started, it was, all the nerves went away and I was like, okay, I can relax in
your
this.
element.
And then Kelly turned and I was like, oh no, I can really relax in this. And then just the whole entire ride of the show was just so incredible. I met so many phenomenal people and so many people that I consider like my really close friends and I know I can for forever and I can go to them for anything. And as well as just like working with all these musicians. Like, I mean, I got to work with my idol.
Right.
And she became my friend and I was like, this is so weird. Like, I look up to you. And then now I'm like, and then you're also my friend too now. It was such a wonderful journey that I had on the show.
I love that because I get some of those emotions just watching the show, and I know, Sam and I did a trial institute with some of the best lawyers in the country a few years ago, and you were just describing the emotions. I was like, one day you're like, I am the best attorney in the whole world. The next day, I am worthless. I don't know if I can do this. I'm calling my dad crying. And then the next day, I'm like, dude, I killed it. We're so good.
Yeah, like day one, me and Kristen are like drinking Red Bulls and just crushing the cans. And then like the next day, we're like shaking.
But we admire you for going through that process. That is not easy, and it's on national television.
Yeah.
But Sam nailed it when she said, once you're in your element, everything comes together.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, we are out of time, but I hope you enjoyed this Saturday morning with Sam, Presley, and myself. And we look forward to seeing you next Saturday and every Saturday. You can catch all of our past episodes on custodyqueensonair.com, and you can download all of these shows on your favorite streaming platform. So make sure you follow me on Instagram, Custody Queen Kristen.
You can follow me at Presley Tennant.
And we loved having you all join us this morning. If you have any questions about any of us or you want to have a consult with the Custody Queens, make sure you call us at 1-800-419-7772. That is 1-800-419-7772. And we love your DMs. Keep them coming. And remember, let love rule.